go on a weird adventure. Hello and welcome to Capricious Conversations. Thank you for joining us today. So it is October, friends, and October is pretty ubiquitous for being the Halloween month.
October is awesome. Roald Dahl has the best quote about October ever. He says, October was a wonderful month for boys.
Why?
Because so much mischief. So much you can get into in October. But yes, it is October, and every October, what comes around but Halloween.
Well, and fall stuff, and I love fall. Fall is my favorite season, and it's beautiful right now in Colorado. All the trees are changing.
It's gorgeous.
And there's so many colors, and the air is crisp and cool, and it's lovely. But yes, at the end of October is Halloween, and it's
our national craze, it seems.
It is, for real, and this is not a fact that I have written down, but it's a $6 billion industry.
$6 billion?
$6 billion. Halloween
it's only
America.
smaller than one thing, and that's Christmas. It's the second most commercialized holiday. It's nuts.
To me, it seems kind of messed up. I'm going to be real about
that. Yeah, it really is. I agree.
But anyway, it is Halloween month, and lots of people are super duper into it, and so we are going to go through some truly bizarre facts about Halloween today. The first being that Halloween actually has its roots in a Celtic festival called Samhain, which was...
Do tell.
It was Celtic New Year. It was a pagan festival, and so it's the New Year, but it was said that during Samhain, the spirits of the dead would come up and roam around with all the other people and terrorize them.
On this one night?
On New Year's.
Really?
Yes.
So this is the Celtic
why.
New Year?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why they came out on New Year's and no other night.
Party! I don't
Maybe.
know.
Not really sure, but so yeah, it is a Celtic tradition.
The Scots invented everything, man. I'm telling you.
They actually think it might have come more from Ireland, but I mean, Celts were all over Europe, so
That's
it
true.
could have been Scottish too, but mostly it came from Ireland, yeah. In the 1st century BC.
Wow, so it's been around for a long time.
Long time.
1st century. Well, interesting. There you go. Mine is about black cats. Of course, everybody knows about black cats and Halloween. And the commonly held theory is you see a black cat, you have bad luck.
Right.
Bad luck. And actually, it was thought that, I think for spiders as well, and black cats and bats, they were supposed to be able to talk to witches. And
Just
so
anytime you see spiders, that's bad news, man. Unless they're outside. I mean, outside is cool, whatever. Inside, no.
But I don't think they talk to witches.
Probably.
But that used to be the belief, and black cats are among that. So there's even stories of druids throwing black cats on the fire during the Samhain festival for incantations. But there's many different things of black cats. In England, they say that owning a black cat will bring you luck.
Oh, good.
Whereas if you just cross a black cat's path, it'll give you bad luck.
That's weird.
Weirder than that, sailors used to revere black cats as symbols of luck. So sailors, if a black cat was thrown overboard, the sailors believed that the sea would punish them. So they took great care of black cats. And actually, some sailors' wives owned black cats strictly for the hope that it would bring their sailor back safe and sound. So
I had no idea.
There you go. Black cats, although they were considered to be familiars of witches, what really kind of turned that was the plague. Because the plague was spread by rats. Of course, they didn't know that at the time. And they thought that it was the cats who were doing them a favor and killing the plague-ridden rats, but the cats got the blame, and they were said to be the souls of witches infecting people.
Poor kitties.
That's where that really came from. So, black cats, we love you.
We actually have one. His name is Bogey. He's adorable.
And he's awesome.
And actually, humane societies put bans or put holds on adoptions of black cats
during Halloween. You can't get one.
Because they're afraid that people will throw them into fires and things like that, which is horrible. Don't do that, people. That's not cool.
No. Torture them by picking them up and holding them when they want to get down and petting them and cuddling them in baby voices.
They actually really like it. Jack-o'-lanterns are also a Celtic tradition. And it is said to be due to this one man whose name was Jack, not surprisingly.
Really?
But so the story goes, or the legend, the myth goes that the devil came to claim Jack's soul.
Okay.
And Jack somehow finagled into letting the devil making the devil let him have one last beer before he went.
One last beer, okay.
Yes. But so the devil apparently went with him to the pub, and Jack finagled it more.
Jack got him drunk?
No, but he made the devil pay for his beer. And give him 10 more years on Earth. And so the devil was pissed, and he gave Jack an ember from hell.
Okay.
And so Jack, not wanting to be burned by this ember, hollowed out a turnip and stuck the ember in it and carried it around with him to ward off the devil. And he tricked the devil again when he came back 10 years later. And so the devil just gave up on him, and then Jack eventually died, and heaven said, "No way, Jose, because you're not a good dude." But the devil was too mad to let him into hell, so he roams the earth with his turnip and hell ember.
Ah, that's what happens.
That's what happens. But so, I mean, jack-o'-lanterns.
So turnips. So why are we carving pumpkins?
It actually became pumpkins during the potato famine, and the Irish came over, and turnips were not as popular in America.
And we got pumpkins out the wazoo here.
So
And
pumpkins are bigger and easier to carve than turnips.
Yeah, and they look more like my mother-in-law. Zing! All right. Yeah, okay, on to the next interesting fact. So, as interesting as it sounds, tons of people, apparently, and I didn't know this, go to Hollywood for Halloween. Like, tons of people. Like, there's a Halloween parade. They have, like,
I suppose that's
200,000 people there. So, the weird fact is that there's a $1,000 fine for using or selling silly string on Halloween if you're in there. So it says, as awful as silly string is most days, it's more awful on Halloween. In 2004, Los Angeles Councilman Tom LeBonge, Tom, if that's your name, I hope I said it right, sponsored an ordinance to outlaw this stuff. Okay, so here's what happened. More than 100,000 people bought silly string, and silly string cleanup cost them $200,000.
Okay, got it.
So funny. Not just because of they were cleaning it up and it's plastic is bad for the environment, but the cops had to be called and the arrest made for people getting into fights over being sprayed with silly string. So they outlawed it. If you get caught with silly string, you can get. And this is just carrying. This is just carrying a can of silly string in Hollywood on Halloween. Okay. You can get a $1,000 fine. You can be jailed for as long as 6 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a stiffer penalty than you'd get for misdemeanor pot possession over there, breaking into a zoo enclosure, or bicycling while drunk. So there you go.
That
Stay
seems
away
a
from
little
the silly
egregious to
string
me.
on
Although
Halloween.
I was thinking when you originally said that it was probably some, I don't know, super posh Beverly Hills chick in like an outrageously expensive costume who just like flipped her lid about getting sprayed with silly string.
I will say this. If I was in Hollywood on Halloween and I saw Kim K, I'd pay the $1,000 and I'd shower her with silly string.
That's funny.
Okay.
All right, black and orange are associated with Halloween, and I never understood why. I mean, I figured that orange was because it was fall, and pumpkins are orange.
That makes sense.
And orange is actually, apparently, a symbol of strength and endurance.
Really?
And so, yeah, it was supposed to be like a symbol to people during the harvest.
Guess it didn't work out that way for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh!
Zing! Okay, sorry.
Or really the Broncos.
Or, yeah, not the last couple games. Okay.
It was sad.
Zing.
Anyway, so it was supposed to be like a boon to the farmers who were harvesting.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
And then black is obviously the symbol of death, but it was supposed to be the death of summer and the birth of a new season. So
okay, I kind of see that, yeah.
Black and orange are the colors.
Orange is typically a fall color, all those kind of earthy tones.
Yeah.
We have some, and Christine said Colorado here is gorgeous this time of year. Really you take a ride up in the mountains and,
yellows,
oh my
oranges,
goodness,
reds,
just
really gorgeous,
beautiful.
Really gorgeous.
So black and orange, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. All right, well, my next one is this. Get ready because there's politics and everything, kids.
Oh boy.
Halloween and the candy industry supposedly influenced the foundation of daylight savings time.
What?
Yeah, okay, so the story goes like this. They were talking about daylight savings time anyway, and the whole reason for daylight savings was it was an agricultural move. Right. It was supposed to give them, so when they were talking about this during the 1985 hearings because they were going to repeal it. They were talking about repealing daylight savings time back in the 80s. So candy makers lobbied to extend daylight savings time to the beginning of November to get an extra hour of daylight, so that more kids could be out getting more candy for Halloween, thus forcing more people to purchase candy to meet the demand. So they wanted it so bad that during the hearings, a candy company representative went in beforehand and put jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, plastic pumpkins, full of candy on every senator's seat.
Oh my gosh.
The candy industry, of course, disputes this account, but it's been documented in the New York Times, and lo and behold, it seemed to have worked.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm just going to say, candy companies, it's time to pack it in, okay? Because, number one, we don't need it for agriculture anymore. Really, and it's super duper annoying. Fallback is not super duper annoying. Spring forward is super duper annoying, and I'm over it. I think we should just be done.
Well, and the other weird thing is that Arizona doesn't do it, and we've got friends that live in Arizona, and I never know.
what time
the time
it is in Arizona.
Yeah, it's just nuts. So most of our agriculture can be done anytime now. Let's dump daylight savings.
For real. Candy is like the biggest reason that Halloween exists right now, honestly, in America. That is, people only want candy. And that the majority of the $6 billion that Halloween costs, or that makes, is candy sales.
$6 billion in candy sales?
No, not obviously. That's not.
Oh, that's part of it. So but the majority
of it is candy sales.
I may dispute you on that. But anyway, continue.
Anyways, kids go crazy for it. And of course,
I went nuts for it.
It's preferred to have chocolate. If you don't have chocolate, nobody's going to come to your house.
Okay, no.
So, pro tip, if you don't want kids coming to your house, give out those little brown and orange Mary Jane things that are terrible.
Oh, that's true. But hey, popcorn balls rated high when I was growing up.
Popcorn balls are amazing.
Nerds.
Here's the problem,
Sweet tarts.
Popcorn balls do not rate high anymore because anything homemade people don't trust.
Are you kidding? I am down with the homemade. That's awesome.
I know, but most
we used to have a
parents,
gal at the end of our block that made homemade caramel apples. Oh, so good.
Man, those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days.
Anyways, kids now, they just mostly go out for candy. And a typical bag of loot ranges about 11,000 calories.
11,000 calories?
11,000 calories. A typical bag.
That's an epic mealtime show.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And most of your kids are eating them in about 2 days.
Whoa! Yeah, you don't need daylight savings time. Just give your kid the rake, man. Send him out to the George after he's eaten all his candy.
Which this year, Halloween is on a Monday. And I'm upset about that because my kids at school are going to be a hot mess.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so this is the reason I have to dispute you on the Halloween candy thing, because I was looking up Halloween costumes. So Halloween costumes, and you're probably right. Probably the majority is spent on candy, but a lot is spent on costumes. And they haven't always been worn just for fun. So in the origins of the festival, the Samhain thing, when the spirits would come back, the Celtics dressed in costumes to attempt to scare away the spirits.
Right.
If that makes any sense. So they're already scary, but you're dressing up to try and scare them away.
I heard that it was either to scare them away or to blend in so the spirits wouldn't know.
So they wouldn't bother them? Okay. So obviously...
Spirits can't tell apparently who's alive and who's dead. If you put on a mask, nobody knows.
Well, spirits are dumb, kind of. They're the opposite of Stingy Jack, who ended up being dumb. But anyway, so everybody dresses up as being costumes for Halloween. But not everywhere can you just be anything you want. For instance, in Alabama, there are restrictions. If you dress as a priest on Halloween, and you're not a priest, you can be arrested and go to jail in Alabama. But we spend a lot of money and we give a lot of attention to our own Halloween costumes. But here's another weird fact. In America, more than $300 million is spent on pet costumes for Halloween. So if you're one of those freaky people that dress up your animals, we love you. Thanks for watching. But you have just contributed to the $300 million that people spend on pet Halloween costumes.
That is pretty extraordinary.
Insane to me. But you can't, like I said, you can't just go anywhere and do anything. In the French town of Vendargue, it looks like it's probably said a little bit racist there. No one over the age of 12 is allowed to wear clown makeup or costumes at all on Halloween. No one over the age of 12.
Big clowns are creepy.
And there's been this whole rash of clown things lately. So far that I looked, there's no anti-clown ordinances that have come up in the U.S. But you can't necessarily just walk into a business dressed any way you want. They can ask you to leave. You can't walk into a school dressed any way you want. The principal has the final say in that. And you, man, if you're working at someplace, you better have the endorsement of the director or the company owner before you dress up in the professional workplace, because those are, not necessarily great places for costumes. However, if you do go to Chipotle, apparently, dressed as a burrito, any kind, you can't get a free one anymore. It's like $3, but still, it's a $3 burrito.
I mean, and Chipotle's good.
But none of their employees are dressed up, so.
Very true.
That's because they're too busy dealing with idiots dressed in foil.
So, kind of going back to what we were talking about, the spirits not being able to tell who's alive and who's dead. Apparently, trick-or-treating originally started off as a superstition that ghosts would come and knock at the door and ask for candy or food or something and treats. And apparently...
So, wait a minute. Incorporeal beings that can pass through walls would knock at the door.
I mean, people talk about this all the time, like the spirits knocking around their house and shutting doors and things like that. Anyway, but the Celts believed, apparently, that if you refused the ghost, and it was a ghost,
right,
that ghost could then come and haunt you. And so then everybody else was like, this seems like a good idea.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't refuse me, because I have to get candy or I'll
because the Scots, above all, are, and I'm saying this being a Scot, but we love things cheap. So if you could go scam your neighbors and get a ton of food, then man, that was the night to do it.
Exactly. And so, for some reason, that night, the boundary line between the Netherworld and the land of the living was blurred for some reason. And so spirits could come, and so people would dress up like spirits to confuse the spirits, and also to get candy out of them.
And also to cheat their neighbors. So there you go.
So it's all a scam.
Halloween is a complete scam.
Halloween is a scam to get candy from your neighbors for free.
There you go. But hey, if you're a kid, it totally works, and sometimes if you're an adult taking kids, it still totally works. There has not been a year yet that I have not taken some child trick-or-treating. And you know what? Most people are like, oh, you need some candy too. And I'm like, yes, I do. Yep, as a matter of fact, that's true. Well, there you go.
So there's your weird facts. If you know of any other weird facts about Halloween, please let us know in the comments below. We would love to know those facts too.
And we love to read your comments.
Yes, we do. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And thank you for sharing this video with all your friends.
Boo!
Let's go on an adventure.